And welcome back for another episode of Hello, It's Best to Talk. Now, today we're going to be talking about something that actually doesn't get that much airtime, which is really the other realms that may be around us. So I'm absolutely thrilled that Bev Densham is going to be joining us today, who's written a book about angels. And also she has an extraordinary story to tell. Bev is a mindfulness and Pilates teacher, and she's been doing that for 24 years now. So that's the kind of, she's very rooted and grounded in that work. And she also does work with children and happiness and how to really, I suppose, live our best lives. So here we are, Bev. We're going to be talking about kind of things that a lot of people might be quite skeptical about. But what kind of led you into the path of the world of angels? And so I think you had a near-death experience once, did you? Could you tell us about that?
I did, but it wasn't the exact, well, I suppose it was probably maybe part of it, but the near-death experience, they all came in a bit of a different order, really. So thank you for having me. But
You're welcome.
Really, it was rock bottom that led me into discovering the angels, but the actual near-death experience, happened sort of before that. And I think there was a very big decline in life after that. When I gave birth to my son, Sammy, many, many years ago now, he's actually 16 now. I can't believe it. But we nearly died at childbirth, and I was in high dependency intensive care, and he went off to the special care baby unit, and I had a preeclamptic fit. I nearly gave birth to him naturally, but then the fit and the swelling and everything completely took over. And I don't even remember when I saw him for the first time. What I do remember seeing, I know the veil was thin between life and physical death then. But once you're unconscious and once you're in intensive care, you don't, as a sort of physical human being, know what on earth is going on. But I did fleetingly wake up in the night, and my sister Julie was there. Oh gosh, it still hits me, this does. And
take your time.
I asked, I thought I'd be right to say, if I was, that's the next time I said this. I wanted to know whether I didn't know whether my son was alive or dead then. So I asked if he was alive to my sister, and she showed me a little photo, and he had this little she showed me a photograph to sort of, I suppose, reassure me that he actually was alive. And then I don't remember much after that. It's all a bit hazy. So I was just very grateful that we did survive, and that was that bit.
Okay. All right, lovely. And so then you said you kind of like after, I mean, we're kind of moving very fast in your life. So your sister Julie is alive. Is she? I mean,
She's very much. Yes, she is. She is.
Okay,
yes.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So yeah, great. So she showed you that your son was alive, and then you mentioned that you hit rock bottom. So tell us what happened there.
Yeah, well, kind of a few years later, there'd been the emotional, psychological abuse going on. And I think obviously after being so ill, I mean, it'd been going on for years before that near-death experience. And I have sort of been shown in meditation since that I was very supported and that I had to stay alive physically to still be here for different reasons. One, for my son. But a few years later, things did get so bad that I had to call the police, and social services did take me and my 3-year-old son away from the family home. And that was a whole big, starting all over again. I mean, they did recommend that we went to a refuge in another county, but we ended up staying with my parents for a few years and just gradually rebuilt our lives. And obviously it's like, I describe it, it's like, you know, I am now a strong person, but I used to be what I consider a strong person, but it's quite incredible. You can be like a cigarette that's been stamped out, and you've kind of had your soul sucked out of you, sort of, and for whatever reason, you stay there too long, and often until it's very, very bad. So we started again, and I got into angels and stuff, and I think it was a huge part of my healing journey. I had this angel card reading, and I found it all very deeply healing, and I went away with my little toolbox of, you know, a set of angel cards, and I discovered positive affirmation cards and different healing modalities. I did go down the traditional route as well of you name it. I've been there and tried it all. But I found that I really want, especially flying to Hawaii as well to train as an angel therapy practitioner. That was
that sounds incredible.
That was a really nice thing to do. And you know, the mindfulness Pilates and having a morning routine, all this sort of combination of things personally has helped enormously.
Great.
And I ended up writing a book. And then I wrote another book, but that book kind of wasn't planned. It wasn't planned. Sometimes things appear, but there's a whole process that makes things appear. And sometimes people call it manifestation.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So tell us more about manifestation then, because I know you've been in the Daily Express recently talking about that. And you've got
here
a copy
it
there.
is.
Whoa!
There it is.
Okay. So can you really manifest the life you want, which, you know, is something that's like lots of people, you know, must be thinking about. I mean, I remember being brought up with the phrase hearing my parents say, you know, I want doesn't get, which is a rubbish thing to say to a child, because actually, you know, you do need to have a vision, and well, I find anyway that, you know, I love to have a vision. Sometimes I can't actually see what's going to happen, and then sometimes it all just kind of plops into my mind, almost like a movie. But you know, you kind of get bits revealed from time to time, but not everybody's open to this. So how do you manifest the life you want, Bev? Give us your top tips.
Well, the thing is, I think there's many layers to this. I think there's the mainstream route, the mainstream layers, which I think is all very practical. I mean, I got into this, what they, you know, obviously things like newspaper articles, they can't go into much detail, but I learned to actually, my background is I have a degree in sports science from the University of Brighton. So yes, I'm an angel author, but actually it's funny, I'm being told and guided to teach quite mainstream these days. Whether people would really call me mainstream is another matter, but so I kind of originally learned it from a science point of view, which in sports science you've got sports and exercise psychology, and that side of it is all about the mental rehearsal of your sport. So for example, Tom Daly at the back of his board will be doing his 10 breath breathing meditation, whatever you want to call it. And then he is visualizing his perfect dive before he dives, you know, to win Olympic gold or to do a really amazing dive. Now, that principle is now shown in science, in brain scans, or whether it's somebody playing the piano or in sport, that mental rehearsal changes the outcome. It enhances the outcome. I did tons of studies when I was there, you know, and you even throwing a ball in a hoop, you're mentally rehearsing it, then you're doing it. Now, if you combine if somebody's injured or an athlete's injured, you know, the mental rehearsal bit is absolutely essential, because that will still fire the muscles. And in brain scans, they show that, you know, there's a difference in what's happening. If you combine mental rehearsal with the physical practice, that is the icing on the cake. So that's visualization. Now, anyone can visualize, and really all it is daydreaming about that thing. Now, that thing can be sport, it can be exercise, it can be business, it can be any sort of goal. Now, manifestation is just basically bringing what you're wanting to bring into fruition, or getting the best outcome possible but you can take it layers deeper and start working with the angels and things like that as well. So that's the kind of sciencey side I got into it, which was, I don't know, 1992 to 1995. I did my degree, and I've been doing it ever since. So I infused that into, like, what I do in my morning routine, and I teach that to my clients. And then you can, if people want to, they can take it layers deeper than, when I say deeper, it's up to us what we call deep, but you can, like my book says, talk to angels and journal with them and ask for their help and guidance as well, to take it to another level.
Right. Okay. So it is very grounded what you do in terms of, so you're kind of combining your mind, your body, your spirit, and then maybe other realms to manifest what it is that you want. And what about
So with the grounded bit, like, for example, when I'm teaching mindfulness Pilates clients, they might be doing a very practical thing like a hamstring stretch, but at the same time I'll be getting them, like today, to visualize a personal small or big goal at the same time. So it's like a daydreaming, and then that allows ideas to come in, inspiration to come in, creativity to come in, even a to-do list. Some people think to-do lists are terrible things, but if it's to do with inspiration and goals and bringing in the life you want, or moving to the sea, or whatever it might be, then that helps it come into fruition. Now, using your heart and soul intuition is another layer, and then connecting, as you say, with other realms such as our guardian angel is another layer.
Right.
You choose your layers, everyone. You choose your layers.
Well, I mean, it's because if you just take something as simple as a holiday, in terms of manifesting a holiday, you don't get to go to Thailand without dreaming about it, looking at it, researching it, booking the flights, and then doing the hotel. I mean, that's kind of obvious, but I think almost like people don't dare to do that in their lives. It's like, well, if I don't do it, then maybe I won't make a mistake, and then maybe that will be better that way, sort of to keep your life small. Whereas I'm learning now that fortune favors the brave, really, and that when you are brave and courageous about your goals, then they're more likely to happen.
Yeah, it's very true. It's like you. You're moving to the sea, and that was a goal of mine, to move to the sea. And it took 4 years to make that goal and that dream and that manifestation to come true, but then it did. And then you think sometimes things come out of the blue, and I always wanted a publisher, not just to self-publish. And then somebody recommended me to my now publisher, and I then wrote my best-selling book right at the beach. I was writing at the beach. That's my happy place. It's my happy place personally. It's also a happy place professionally, to create things to help people and inspire people. So I then hand wrote it, walking, writing, just with a pad and paper, and eventually sat at the laptop and typed it up.
Brilliant. So I Talk to Angels is your best-selling book, yeah?
Yeah. I Talk
Wonderful.
to Angels.
Yeah, I've got a copy, but I had currently this morning don't have a copy, and I'm fairly sure it's because my daughter's borrowed it and it's disappeared. So otherwise I was going to share. So thank you, Bev. So the book then really tells you about how to get in touch with your very own guardian angel, doesn't it?
Yeah. So we each have a guardian angel who's like a spiritual best friend, and in the book I help people connect with how to see, hear, feel, and know the messages of the angels, how to journal with the angels, how to do a little angel prayer to start the day, how to manifest with the angels, how to bring goals and manifestation into your work or your personal life. And mindful little things like, coloring and it's sort of lots of meditations. It's very much a self-help book that you can have like a little spiritual best friend, and just pick a page a day. Once you've read the book, it's nice to pick a page a day. You can either just pick it intuitively, or ask your angel, what's the best page for me today? And you'll get most wonderful tip of the day. And sometimes you'll be picking your journaling that you've been doing, or sometimes it's a self-care tip, or how to have a morning routine, or how to have an evening routine, and in some way or other how to make your life kind of better and happier.
which is what everybody wants, is to have a better and happier life. Yeah. And to spend time in your, I mean, yeah, well, somebody gave me a tip last year, which was, if you want to be happy, spend more time in your happy place. And I always know that my happy place is by the sea. So it felt like, although I love being in Sussex and being surrounded by woods, I also, there's something that happens by the sea. I think it's the sort of the in-between place between land and sea, where you can move from one, earth place to a water place. And a myriad of other things, but somehow being by the sea just makes me really joyous. Do you find that as well?
It's my absolute happy place. I didn't want to live inland anymore, not just because of the past stress and being in that particular county, but even though my favourite family in the whole world and some of my best friends are there, and of course go back to visit. But I was like, it's 4 years is quite a long time to make a move. And it's like, I really don't want to live the rest of my life inland. The sea is swimming in the sea and being by the sea and walking by the sea and creating and designing by the sea, being with friends and family by the sea. It's just, I think it's the most recharging thing ever.
Right,
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Which county are you in, Bev?
So Poole, Dorset, by the sea here on the south coast.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I'm hoping to move to Devon. In fact, I found out later on today, or this week anyway, so whether the house that we're hoping to move to is going to happen. But bizarrely, what happened was that there was a fire in the house opposite. So last month, an old hotel, which is opposite this house, went on fire. We saw the fire engines going past because we were down in Ilfracombe, which is in Devon. And I thought, where are they going? Where are they going? They're going to the house opposite. So at the moment, this house is actually cordoned off. Our house, my house, the house that I want to buy, is cordoned off on the road because the house opposite is now unstable and may fall down at any time. So I keep looking at this and thinking, what message is this? Is this giving me? Is this making sure that nobody else is going to get this house because it's being cordoned off? So it could be mine. Or is it the fire is cleansing something? Or is it the wrong place to go to? Do you know, it's how you interpret these things is interesting.
Yeah. It's one of the really good things often is to just notice you're knowing about something. Like when you go later, you'll probably have a very strong knowing. Oh my gosh, that's hot. Okay, that's gone on over the road and it's cordoned off at the minute. But you'll probably have a knowing, whatever way your style of from an angelic point of view, you might see, hear, feel, or know. But knowing can be quite strong with people, but they don't always tap into it. So what I'm trying to say is you'll know. Yeah.
Well, when I went round to see it and I saw the garden, this was before the fire happened, but I saw there's a very wild wood that's just part of it, and there's a little indentation in a wall, and I saw a bench and books and blankets and things, and that would be my place to write outside. And it was such a clear vision. I thought, right, yes, okay, that's it. That's where I'm going to be. So the fires is kind of like another challenge I'm finding.
Yeah, well, the word I'm getting is angle. My son's always laughed at me over the years. He listened to my children's CD so many times when he was younger, and it says the letters of angle spell angel, meaning you have the innate wisdom of the angels within you. And he quotes this like word for word. He listens to it till he's 10 years old. But the point is, you can have all the angles from the angels, but there are different angles to look at with things as well. And that's the wisdom that I'm getting in.
Okay. There are other things to look at. Okay.
Well, yeah, so looking at it from, all angles.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Bev. Thank you for your very own angelic tip in terms of my moving to the sea business.
You definitely move to the sea.
Absolutely. But it's how it's going to manifest is going to be an interesting thing. Well, Bev, that's wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll drop your links down below. So anybody, people are watching this, then please subscribe. It's lovely to have your the gift of that subscription for us. And Bev will show how you get more in touch with Bev and see her website and all the wonderful things that she's doing and manifesting on the planet. So Bev, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Helen.
You're welcome. Love and light.